and welcome. My name's Sam and this is the Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for joining me for our second in this week's stamp set of the week, Poised Peony. Now this design you may recognise. It was the same design kind of when we did Changing Leaves, and it was the sketch of the week that the Changing Leaves would have seen. This is slightly different, so let's bring in the supplies and I can show you what to do. So we have for today, our supplies are Pebble Path, which measures 8 inches by 5 3/4. I have a white piece of cardstock which measures 3.5 by 5 1/4. I have 2 pieces of cardstock, one that is in Peach Pie and one that is in Mossy Meadow, and both measure 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. And then I have a piece of white cardstock which measures 3 inches by 4 3/4. Okay, so most of the work is going to be done on this tiny piece here. The other piece of white is for the inside layer. So let's start with our peony. Just going to burnish that one first and then I can pop it to the side. Right, so here's our peony and we're going to stamp it again today in the Memento Black. Okay, again I'm bringing the ink to the stamp rather than the other way round, as the stamp is so big. Now what I'm trying to do is I want to get my peony up to the top and slightly over to the right. So if we just do it like so, and then we just go straight down, straight up, perfect. And then again I'm going to stamp up another one of these, and this time I'm going to stamp it off slightly. I don't want a full peony, I'm just going to have it slightly off to the right. There we go. And that will stay like that. I'm not going to colour that one in. Okay, so let's pop that there. Let's bring this in for colouring. So today's peony is going to be in, so I have the dark and light Peach Pie. I also have the dark and light Petal Pink, and then I have Mossy Meadow for the leaves. Now the reason I've gone for Peach Pie is there is a peony called Canary. It's not orange and it's not pink. It's a mixture of these, I suppose, 4 put in together. So that is my aim for this particular peony. So first of all I'm just going to colour in the leaves with the light Mossy Meadow, and because they are not very big leaves I am going to literally use the smaller of the 2 edges, and that way we should, it just gives me a bit more room, no not more room, more scope of not going outside the lines really. As much as I love colouring in, I wouldn't say I am the best person for colouring in. I just put the ink down and say yep, that's the way I like it. I'm not one of these people that go miles into the shading and everything. A, I wish I had the patience to do it, and B, I don't seem to see what they see. So it's coloured in, you'll get a tiny bit of highlight, but as I say, there is no artist in me when it comes to colouring. I wonder how many of you out there are the same. Are you somebody that is, artistry must be worked? Or are you like me and just get a bit of colour on and a tiny bit of shading where you think it's probably best to have the shading? I mean, most of these stamps that we get have the shading sort of built in for us, so we've got some idea of where it's going, at least. Right, okay, so with the dark, I'm just going to put that round the base of each petal. And obviously this is going to be, the creases are going to be darker, so I sort of know that. Right, now then I'm going to go over with the light. I'm going to use the slightly thicker end for this, and I'm literally going to go over the colour that I have already laid down and in it just a little bit further as well, and hopefully this blending with the pens will do the work for me. Okay, so now I've done that, I'm bringing in the dark petal pink again. I'm going to use the larger of the two ends, and I'm just going to go over the entire leaf, obviously leaving some white for the lighter of the last colour. So that would be the light petal pink. There we go. Right, and then last, colouring the rest of it in using the light. So, and I think that's probably as dramatic as colouring in I'm going to ever really reach when it comes to colouring in. There we go. So, and that is my take on the Canary Peony. Right, so as you can see, that is now completed. So now what we need to do is bring in our cutter, and we are going to cut that at 1.5 inches. So that's literally in half. So straight down, straight up, 1.5 inches. Then on the left hand piece, I'm going to cut 1.5 off the top. There we go. And then I'm going to do exactly the same, but this time we're going to do it on the bottom. So 1.5 off the bottom. There we go. So now you can see how it will sit on the card and why I wanted it up to the top and slightly over to the right. So we've got this plain one down here, bottom right hand corner, which is where the sentiment's going to go. Now I'm using the sentiment "You're in my heart and prayers" down here in the bottom right hand corner. Again, I'm going to use the Memento ink, and this particular sentiment is from the stamp set So Sincere. Okay, I promise to make a happy card on Friday. So let's pop that down there, straight up, straight down. There we go. Now what we need to do is to put a border around it. So I'm going to bring in my Mossy Meadow. So the first thing I'm going to do is, so this is 1.5. I need it to be 1/8 of an inch larger. So when I do this, what I do is I go to 8.5. and then I go 1/8, so it's not exactly 1 3/4, it's in between the 1.5 and the 1 3/4. So it will be, let's have a look, 1 2 3 4 5/8. So that's 1 5/8 at the top and 1 5/8 for the bottom. So that's 1 and 2. So then they can sit like that with the thing, and then I'm going to do exactly the same. So this is again 1.5, but it is in length 3 1/4. So let's go 1.5. Okay, and then 3 1/4 halfway through, I think. Yeah, I did. I didn't measure that best as I possibly could. So there's that one. And bear with me, I have a spare piece just here. Okay, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. There we go. And then it was 1, 2, 3. So 3 3/8. And then that fits onto there perfectly. Okay, so let's adhere those in with our multi-purpose. There we go. So the sentiment has its own little square. And that's 1 5/8 by 1 5/8. Same as the top piece. There we are. And then we've got 1 5/8 by 3 3/8. Yeah. Okay, so I'll stick those down. Let's give that a little bit of a wriggle so it is. And this is why we have multi-purpose, so that we can make sure that everything is in its right place. Perfect, that's that one. So that will look like that, and then the last piece can be stuck. Come on, you. Onto here. There we are. Right, and then that goes up the top there, and then that piece goes down the bottom there. Now our peach pie, let's have a look. I may cut it down slightly a bit more, so let's just have a look before I do. That one will go there, that one will go there, that one will go there. I think we can get away with it like this. I don't think I do need to cut it down. Perfect, look at that. Yep, I think I can stick that down quite nicely. So again, my multi-purpose. To there, let's make sure I've got enough room. Lovely, and then that piece goes over here. Yep, and then the same with the bottom piece. Straight, and then the last piece. Now if you wanted to, you could put this piece up on dimensionals, but I'm going to stick with it as being flat for this particular card. Right, and now that can be layered on top of our pebble path, like so. I think that's quite dramatic. Just add our multi-purpose. Lovely. And then all I need to do now is add my inside layer. Pick that up and pop it inside. Perfect. And there's that one. Okay. And I'm just going to add the finishing touches of some bling, which I have in the Pebble Path colour. And I'm just going to pop one in the top down here, and then one maybe just about there. Okay, so thank you ever so much for joining me today. I hope you like these cards. As I say, they are very quick, but I think work very, very well. There we go. Put that straight. We might be able to look at it properly now. So thank you ever so much for joining me today. I will be back on Friday with our sketch of the week, of course. I'm still using the same stamp set. So if you're around, please do join me then. If not, I hope to catch up with you very soon. Whatever you do for the rest of the day, stay safe and happy crafting. Bye.